Night fell quickly in the Darkwood, and Alara knew she needed to find shelter. She stumbled upon a small clearing, dominated by an ancient oak that seemed untouched by the curse. It was there that she decided to make camp, lighting a small fire for warmth and protection. As she sat by the fire, her thoughts turned to the missing children. She wondered if they were somewhere in the forest, lost and afraid, or if something more sinister had befallen them. As the fire crackled, she felt a chill run down her spine, followed by a soft giggle sound that seemed out of place in the oppressive silence of the Darkwood. She stood up, peering into the darkness, her heart racing. "Who's there?" she called, but only the wind answered. Then, she saw a faint, ethereal glow in the distance. It moved through the trees like a will-o'-the-wisp, flickering and fading. Alara hesitated, but then steeled herself and followed the light, leaving the safety of her campfire behind. The glow led her deeper into the forest, where the trees grew denser and the air colder. She reached a small, secluded glade where the light seemed to gather and intensify. In the center of the glade stood a tall, stone monolith, covered in strange symbols and runes. As Alara approached, she felt a wave of cold wash over her, and the air grew thick with a palpable sense of dread. The glow resolved into a figure transparent and ghostly, a child, no more than 7 years old. "Thomas," Alara whispered, her voice catching in her throat. The ghostly figure nodded, its eyes wide with fear and sorrow. Alara felt tears prick at her eyes as she reached out to the apparition, but her hand passed through it as if it were mist. "How can I help you?" she asked, her voice breaking. The ghostly figure pointed to the base of the monolith, where a small, wooden toy lay, a toy Alara recognized as the one Thomas had been playing with before he disappeared. She knelt down, picking it up, and as she did, a cold, whispering voice filled her mind, speaking in a language she did not understand. Suddenly, the ground beneath her feet began to tremble, and the forest around her seemed to come alive with movement and sound. Shadows flitted between the trees, and Alara felt eyes watching her from all directions. She looked back at the monolith, where more ghostly figures had appeared, children of various ages, their faces pale and eyes empty. They all pointed toward the ground, where the earth had cracked open, revealing a hidden chamber beneath the monolith. Alara hesitated for only a moment before descending into the darkness, the air growing colder with each step. The chamber was filled with strange, glowing symbols and ancient artifacts, and at its center stood an altar made of black stone. On the altar lay a book, its pages bound in a strange, leathery material. As Alara approached, the book seemed to pulse with the dark energy, and the whispering voices grew louder. She reached out and touched the book,